Okay, what's up, guys? What's up? Let's get this thing kicked off. Sorry, I was just trying to grab myself a drink so that we can hang out for a little bit and talk. It's been a while since we've done all this, so get back in the groove of things. Let me grab your comments. Let's see. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm just gonna get it up on my phone here too. Let's see. Okay, guys, so we're back in the garage. A familiar garage you guys know about. So I'll get out of the way a little bit so you guys can see all the projects, and hopefully I can answer a bunch of different questions. I saw some different questions about the Dakota and like some clarity on the Dakota build and you know what's going on, why is there two of them, and maybe a bit more information on Jason's truck and all that stuff. So hopefully I can clear all that up for you guys today too. James says, how about a Boosted Motorsports logo for reppin for the East Coast division? Yeah, definitely. Now that I'm back, you guys, just remind me, send me an email. I know I have to catch up on a bunch of stuff too, but if you guys ended up joining, you know, you guys hit the join button and you joined Team BMS, let me know what color you guys want. I'll give you guys the options on what colors I have. With shipping and stuff like that, it might be hard for me to get any new colors. But remind me again, send me an email if you guys ended up joining Team Boosted Motorsports so I can ship your stickers out. And maybe I can drop those off tomorrow, either tomorrow or Monday. I'll try to get them done and taken care of. But latest Monday, I'll get them shipped out. So just send me an email if I forgot. I got to still go through my emails. I've just been getting back up to speed this week. So definitely remind me and I'll get those stickers out. Or if you guys aren't a member but you still want a sticker, I don't have any right here to show you, but you guys know the ones. They're about 9.5 inches, give or take, and they're the Boosted Motorsports stickers. They're $5 each shipped if you guys want. So you won't get the Team Boosted Motorsports sticker, but you'll get a Boosted Motorsports sticker for $5 shipped. The Team Boosted Motorsports ones are, you know, saved for people that are actually members too. So either way, I'll get you guys hooked up, but just send me an email if you're interested in any of that. Project ADD, nice, these are always fun. Yeah, I like doing these. These are kind of a bit of a freestyle for me, so hopefully you guys enjoy them. We can talk about some of your trucks or builds or cars or whatever it might be, and then answer any questions one-on-one with you guys on the truck or car or whatever it might be. So that's the plan for tonight. Let's get kicked off. Nathan said, what's up from Texas? What's up, Nathan? I don't know if I can pronounce that, but Mazuraski. Man, it's been a while since I've seen you on YouTube. Man, I've been on YouTube. I know the live, I haven't done the lives in a little bit, but we've been cranking out the content. So also, if you guys need clarity again too, I do have 3 channels. We have the garage, which is a completely separate channel. That's kind of more techie stuff, or if I fix something around the house, there's that channel. There's Boosted Motorsports 2, which I'm going to be trying to put more car content, I think, since this main channel that we're on right now seems to be more truck based, or it seems a lot of guys are into the trucks. I think we'll keep the main one more truck stuff for now, and we'll keep motoring with all 3. So I'm gonna keep trying to upload consistently to all 3 as well, and I'll do my best to get all that going. One other thing, I saw some comments too. You know, some of the videos that I produce are, you know, straight to the point and, you know, direct. So I know you guys have seen me made a lot of different content. Some of them are more vlog based, where, you know, I'll take you guys along for an adventure, or maybe you guys kind of see, you know, us goofing off in the garage and, you know, cracking jokes and working on stuff. There's that style of content. And then there's also, you know, somebody who's just searching on Google, you know, how do I replace my front struts or shocks or whatever. And I try to gear some of those videos towards that as well. Ones that are just, you know, in, bing, bang, boom, done, like 2-3 minutes. They know exactly what they got to do. Maybe might not be the most exciting content, but it is useful. So the one that I posted, I think today actually, it went live. The one to remove the headlight on the SRT-10, the 3rd gen Ram. I agree, not the most exciting thing, but those are actually the ones that, in the long run, end up generating more, views or money or any of that stuff for the channel. Like how to change the oil on a Hemi. That's one of my top videos. Or how to change the spark plugs on a Hemi. Pretty much how to do any maintenance to a Hemi. How to change the transmission fluid on a Hemi. If you guys look at all those videos, they have like hundreds of thousands of views. So they're not the most exciting, but a lot of people are searching for those things, and they help people get those done. So as far as, if you guys see them and it doesn't apply to you, I don't mind if you don't watch it, but that's what those videos are for. So I kind of just throw those in between all the vlog stuff, and that's why they're there. Darren said, "Hey John, send me some warm weather. It snowed a little bit today." Damn. Yeah, it's pretty warm here. A little bit weird weather today, but it's been like mid-70s, and it's supposed to be mid-70s for the next week or so, which is nice. So I'm not complaining at all. Travis Brooks, be nice to see a supercharger on the Dakota again. Yeah, so that's the plan. We were running into some issues with the supercharger that was on it before, so without getting into too much details, me and Jason might try to see about finding a different head unit, and probably one that's sized a little bit better. So we had the P1SC unit that was on there, but ideally it would be nice to have the D1SC from ProCharger. So at this point, we're probably going to try to look for that D1SC and see if one pops up for sale in the classifieds and stuff, and I would like to get one of those on there with the cam and all that stuff and get this thing kind of hopped up. That's where we're at right now. So either that or I got to try to do something with that P1SC, but without getting into all the details on that, it will be getting boosted at some point. And I don't know, we'll let things run for a little bit here and see who joins. Let's say, I don't know, let's throw a time stamp on it. So around 7, I'll really get into the details, 7 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard. I'll get into the details on exactly what the plan is, and if you guys haven't seen the last video on what we're doing with the build and all that stuff, I'll get into that as well, but I'll get through some of your comments too at the same time. And if you guys want any, me to give my opinion or take on any of your stuff, drop it down below and we'll answer that for the next little bit. Be nice to see you, Supercharger. Okay, I got you, Travis. Nathan, thoughts on SCT Tuners? I'm not here to, badmouth any different companies and stuff like that, but I've tried the different ones, and my personal, like I said, I'm not going to sit there and this isn't like a merch plug. My personal choice was HP Tuners. I bought everything with my own money, and I started, that was the one that I chose after messing with a few different ones. It was the most versatile. They didn't make you buy multiple units. They didn't restrict you in any way. You bought the device. It fit a million different, well not a million, but a lot of different variety of vehicles, different brands, and they were constantly adding to the list of vehicles, like supported vehicles that their device worked on, and you didn't have to change your device. Like they weren't, changing the device so often. They keep the same device for, multiple years before they upgrade it, but they just keep adding support to that thing, and that was a cool feature for me. So I thought that was interesting that you could buy the actual, dongle or the OBD2 device that plugs in. As long as you have your laptop, you update your software, the support keeps going. So that was something that really drew me in, the fact that I could buy this thing and I could tune a bunch of different vehicles, or if my friends needed anything done, or if anybody was local and they wanted something done, and as long as I have that device, as long as you buy the credits, you can do it. So that really steered me in that direction that way. And then I had a lot of bad experience using a handheld. I'm not going to name any names, but you guys probably already know, or if you don't, look at my videos from before. But yeah, I had a lot of bad experience with it bricking PCMs and stuff. So I've had nothing but good success with HP Tuners, and after making a bunch of videos on my own will, then HP Tuners came on board and wanted to support what we were doing. So it wasn't like one didn't happen before the other. I personally chose HP Tuners and was using it, paid for everything by myself, and once they saw what we were doing, they wanted to get involved. So if you're asking me my personal opinion without any, any bias, it's still HP Tuners. I'm still happy with it, and I'm still using it. But that's my take. I don't really. One of the things with the other companies, and again, not naming names, is they are really eager to get support for the latest vehicle, and then they drop support for the older vehicles. They're always in a rush to, to be the first ones to, get the 2020 C8 Corvette or whatever the latest vehicle is, and they leave all the old vehicles in the dust. And even though they've made promises to support those vehicles, they never come through on those promises. Whereas, I'll give you an example, not to, be biased again, but HP Tuners released support for the stuff that you guys are looking at, right? So all this JTEC and JTEC Plus stuff, they released support for a bunch of old vehicles on their new system, which before it was really selective on what programmer you could use. So I don't know, that personally, that goes to show you the type of company it is, that they are going to continue to add support for even the older vehicles, and they're not going to be strictly focused on, trying to just unlock the latest, newest vehicle. So that's my 2 cents on the thing. Hopefully, that means something, but let me know if you want more clarification on that, or you want more of my opinion. Ben says, what's up, man? How's your Friday? I just finished swapping the front bumper on my 2018 Ram 1500, so it's been a good day. Which bumper did you put on? Sport bumper, different bumper? Let us know. Travis, I got my Helicoil kit for my brake calipers on my 2001 Dakota today. Oh, nice. So you're doing that same thing with the calipers and the pin. That was, that job is still holding up good. One thing that I might start when I get some time, too, let me just crack this open so I'm not dying here. I want to drink. One thing that I wanted to do is, you guys know that I upgraded, I don't know if you guys can see it in the shop, probably not, but I upgraded the brakes on the Viper, but you guys know that the Viper bolt pattern is the same as the Dakota and vice versa. So I was getting an idea in my head that I could use my old brake calipers that I took off the Viper and try to retrofit them onto the Dakota. I don't know if anybody makes brackets, like is actually making and producing those brackets. I talked to Mark from IPSCO, and he was, he said he could do it and actually make the brackets, but I would just have to try to get around to it and try to measure everything up and mock it up. But I don't know, and if I get a little bit more time, and if you guys, or enough of you guys are interested, let me know so that I kind of can get a gauge for that. And maybe what I could do is, since like everything is just, will bolt right on, right? So, well, not bolt on, but it'll fit on. So the rotors that came off the Viper, the calipers, they could all technically, go on there. I would just have to make the brackets to be able to mount the calipers on there. So I was thinking even getting a 3D printer and taking some measurements, and I could try to make my own brackets, in plastic, 3D print them, and then once I figured out exactly where it has to go, I could probably ship those off to Mark at IPSCO, our sponsor for the Viper stuff, and he could probably make them out of billet aluminum, and we could actually get things, moving, if that's something you guys are interested in. It'd be a ton of work on my end, and I've never messed with 3D printing, so that would be a new venture for me, but I think it would be fun if people were going to do it. But one of the things is, if you guys are Dakota people and you don't know too much about the Vipers, there is a ton of brake, old brake calipers from these 92 to 2002 Vipers, because everyone was trying to upgrade the brakes. So it would be a huge upgrade for the Dakota, but everyone wanted like insane sports car braking on this. So it was lacking on this, but I think on that it would actually be quite an improvement. But let me know if you guys are interested in that at some point. And we got a lot of projects, a lot on the go. We could maybe do something there. Our Lady. What about a cheap swap, such as a police engine, police auction, into one of the Dakotas? Well, what we are doing with the Dakota, and let's wait till 7 o'clock, we'll talk a little bit more, but we got some exciting stuff coming for the Dakota right now. So a little bit of a turn in direction, but you guys saw that we went to IMM Engines, and I was talking to him, and you guys already know that my income source is pretty limited at the moment, and I wanted to do something fun, wake this engine up a little bit without, breaking the bank, and that ended up leading us to that cam setup, which right at 7, once we get a bunch more people, joining in here, I'll let you guys know exactly what I'm talking about there. But I'll get into those details in a second. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be motor swapping this at any time soon. I think we're going to be playing with the Magnum stuff for a while. But, you know, between me having the two engines and Jason, who you guys saw in the last video and you've seen him in a few videos, having so many different parts for these things, I think we should piece together some stuff that, you know, he has and see what does what. And I'm not, because we got this engine so cheap, I'm not too worried about, you know, grenading it. As bad as that might sound. My goal is not to blow it up. Obviously that would put us out of commission, but I'm not afraid to have fun with it, if that makes sense. Oh wait, hold on a second. Somebody just dropped some money. Our Lady ND, thank you so much. So Our Lady ND just dropped $10 on this live chat. So thank you, I appreciate it. I promise it won't go unused. We're doing a lot of stuff here. So I just, like I said, I already paid for the cam. I don't know if I really said that in the video. I bought the cam and I bought the springs and I bought a new timing set, and I'll talk about it more in a second, but all that stuff's paid for and it should be here in about 2 weeks. So this Dakota is going to get fun here in the next couple weeks. Yeah, so as far as, you know, to talk about the different swaps, I think we're going to play with the engine that's in that for now. One of the other things too is if I were to put an engine swap into this, it's going to be almost impossible for me to keep it on the street in California, because an engine swap and emissions and all that stuff here, it's going to be, there is a way to do it legally, and I'm not saying it's illegal to engine swap a vehicle, but you have to like go through this huge process, and you have to have all the computer and electronics from the donor vehicle and the VIN number and, you know, all that stuff, and you have to have that all running on the, you know, the vehicle that you're putting it in. Like for example, if you guys saw that crazy Norris's Jeep, he had that Jeep, that monster truck looking Jeep. It had an LS swap in it, and it was, I think that thing's like a 2008 Jeep or something like that, but it has an LS swap in it from like, I don't know, 2010 Tahoe or something like that. And on the door jamb, it actually says the VIN number that they took all the guts out and put it in there, and it had to go through this whole certification process and all the catalytic converter and every PCV and, you know, EVAP system has to be running. Like, it's a huge ordeal to motor swap legally in California. It can be done, but it's, like I said, it's no easy feat, and I don't know if I want to get into that just yet. Let's make a bunch of jam with this, see what happens. I still really want to do the Hellcat swap on this, and we'll see where things go. But again, thank you for the $10. I promise it won't go to waste. I actually have to order gaskets for when we do the cam swap, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. So thanks again. Trevor, are you ever going to make throttle bodies for older Rams 2012? So, Trevor, on that note, I just sent out a bunch of throttle bodies to get machined, because I know you guys are, loving those. And again, my completely unbiased opinion, but everybody that I've given one of those throttle bodies to that's, got one of them, they've been nothing but happy. So everyone loves the throttle body, the bored out ones that I've been making, and they were 2013 and up. And the only reason they're 2013 and up is because they changed the connector on it on 2013 to 2020. I don't think they've changed it yet. But 2005 to 2012 use a different throttle body. Like, it looks a little bit different, but the bolt pattern is the same. So what you can do is, I think it's MMX, they make an adapter harness. It's like $50 or $40 that converts the 2013 and up throttle body to the plug for a 2005 to 2012. So that's one option. You can still get my throttle body and put it on the older truck or car or whatever it happens to be, the Hemi, 2005 to 2012, 2005 to 2012, just to be clear, uses a different connector. You can use the newer throttle body that I've been making, and you can put on one of those older cars with that adapter. The second option is, I haven't done them yet, but it's going to be kind of a prototype, is I sent out two 05 to 12 throttle bodies to be machined the same way that I've been doing the 13 and up ones. So I'm gonna, I don't know exactly when the timeline is because of everything that's going on and the madness that's going on in the world. I don't know exactly when those are gonna come back, but I did a batch of the 13 and up ones, and then I have two 05 to 12s coming back. If they come out and they work and everything goes as planned, then I will have 2 of them, and then I can actually start making some of those as well. So that's where we're at with that as far as the 05 to 12 stuff. So that would fit your 2012, of course. Let me move on to the next question. What's up, Patrick? Nothing, man. Just hanging out on Friday. This is the quarantine life, which I don't mind being stuck in here once in a while. So, Project ADD. Why don't you just try a home gasket match job on those other blown 5.9 heads? Button the bowls, springs and cam, check the PTV with clay or plate dough. I could. The only thing is, so this is my whole thing, and the reason why I'm trying to not do too much, but just still do something that's gonna be fun, is the motor that we took out, you know, the one that we blew up, obviously that motor is not in good health. If you guys are familiar with the Magnum stuff, the stock heads are known to crack, and the valve seats are known to wear out, you know, pretty easily. You know, valve guides, all that stuff. So honestly, in my honest opinion, if that other engine is, you know, already in a bad state, the one that's on the ground behind the truck that you know, I'm pointing over there, it's behind the truck, that one, you know, the heads probably are going to need some attention. So if I were to yank them, which we will actually, we're going to disassemble that engine here shortly and see what actually went wrong with it. Those heads are going to need some freshening up. If the bottom end ended up being toast, I'm guaranteeing the top was probably, you know, not doing too well either. Whereas the engine that's in this truck, it's healthy. I did a compression test on it. The numbers were good. I mean, honestly, if I were to pull the heads on this, I would probably find those superficial cracks too, just because pretty much all of them are cracked. But, I mean, the engine's running good. It's not blowing any smoke, not doing anything weird. So it's almost like, we're turning a blind eye, so to speak, on this engine. Because, honestly, it's a 20-year-old engine at least, right? And if we were to open it up, I'm sure we could find some things that we're going to want to change on that. But in order to keep it budget friendly, in order to have some fun, until we end up building a different engine, which is going to be probably the one behind it. So till we do that, we're going to wake this engine up a little bit. So yeah, I could probably take these heads off and clean them up and do all that stuff. But, you know, actually, Jason just bought 2 head gaskets for his truck, but just to give you a number example, he managed to score 2 head gaskets at $40 a piece, so $80. I don't know, let's call it almost $100 for head gaskets. So just to pull the heads, it would be, you know, $100, and then I'm sure we're gonna find something that we're not gonna be overly happy with, and it's just going from there. But instead, is it almost 7? All right, it's almost 7. We'll talk about the Dakota. You got me talking about it. Instead, what we're going to do is I ordered a cam and I ordered springs, and we got the highest lift cam that we can use with the stock valve train on this truck without having to build heads, without having to get different valves, you know, do the guides, put different valve springs on it. We're saving all that and all that labor and all that money that would be spent there, saving it for the set of good flowing heads that Jason has, and we'll get those actually done for a full engine build. So that's what Jason is actually putting on his. If you guys saw those Indy X heads, he got those completely freshened up from IMM Engines, which is in Indio, California. So those guys are very familiar with, you know, Mopar builds and Magnum builds, so they know their stuff. That's why, if you guys haven't seen the interview that we did, kind of just visit that we did to IMM Engines, check that out. But they want to see, you know, and rightfully so, they're an engine shop, they wanted to see like an entire freshened up engine. So we're still down for that, but obviously that's going to cost more money to go through a whole engine. So what we're going to do is I am going to be installing a cam in the garage in this truck, which is going to be super fun. I'm excited to do it. So we're going to put the cam in this, and the option was to go with 1.7 roller rockers or to leave 1.6s. So the way it was explained to me from Brian is, if you get the 1.7 roller rockers, if you just put 1.7s on this truck, bone stock as it is, it's going to open the valves a little bit more because of the ratio. So that's what some guys do. Even with the Viper, they put 1.7 roller rockers on a stock cam, and it gives a little bit more lift. So the way Brian explained it to me is I can either let him know if I'm going to put the 1.7s on it, and the lobes, the physical lobes on the camshaft won't be as tall, so they won't lift as much if he's going to put 1.7s in there. Hopefully all this is making sense, because 1.7s will open the valves more, so the cam has to be less. If I don't put the 1.7s and I keep the 1.6, rockers in there, then the cam, he's going to spec the cam a little bit bigger to open up the valve more, knowing that I'm not going to put 1.7s on it. So that was the direction we went. The rockers, the 1.7 rockers are about $300 or so. So I saved myself $300, and we're putting a cam with brand new valve springs in it, and we're going to shim the intake valve springs just a little bit, just to give a little bit more spring pressure. And this thing is going to sound awesome. So it's going to be a nice lumpy cam. It's going to open the valves as much as we possibly can with the stock valve train, and it'll breathe some air in there, and then we'll put one of the intakes on there. So I think we're probably going to put the M1 on this, and ultimately the supercharger. So this thing should be a fun little truck, and then that will give us something fun to play with. We can do all the testing, go to the drag strip, hopefully it opens soon, and do all that testing, and then start our full build. Either my engine build or Jason's, whoever does it first, but we have the spare long block over there. We're also going to put that engine on an engine stand, fully disassemble it. I'll do it here in the garage, and we'll see what looks cooked in it, and we can assess the damage and what we have. I think we should be able to use that long block. It should be savable. And then we'll build the bottom end. We'll put a set of probably the Edelbrock heads or something on it, since we have a few sets of heads with Jason's stockpile of Mopar parts, and we'll put together 2 fully built engines at one point. So obviously with this being Boosted Motorsports, my truck will more than likely get the supercharged application, and his is going to be the naturally aspirated. So right now on his truck, he's going to do stock short block. He has a complete motor in his truck running. And what we're going to do is take off the stock heads off of his truck and put on the Indy X heads with, I think we're going to put the Hughes air gap on his, since he's not getting the supercharger. He's going to need a little bit more down low grunt, which the Hughes air gap will make. So if you guys are getting lost, we'll be documenting the whole thing, but that's the plan. So let's see what other questions you guys have. If you have any questions on everything that I just mumbled, drop a comment and I'll mumble some more. So yeah, just to answer your question, product AD, that's why I'm not going to go through too much hassle with this engine. Since it's a running engine, we'll leave it alone for the most part. We'll make it sound good, get some air flowing through it. We'll put the intake manifold on it, and throw a cam on it. And we're going to I'm going to change the valve springs on it with the head on, hopefully. So that's the plan. I'm going to get the tool so that I can compress the valve springs with the head on the car. But if that all goes south, then I guess I could take the heads off and we could try to clean up some of the casting marks or whatnot. But that's plan B. I would rather keep the heads on the car, save myself the $80 to $100 for head gaskets and the extra work of having to pull the heads. Not only just pull the heads, but take off those, not stupid, but take off the headers on there, which are a pain in the ass to take off and put back on. Michael, looking at buying a top end kit from Performance Injection Equipment. Not sure if it's worth it for $3,100. That's hard to say. I'd have to look at what the details. I haven't looked at their kit, to be honest, but $3,100 is, $3,100 is $3,100. Ben, hello from New Hampshire. Love all the channels. Working on my 2016 Ram. Videos are great information. Keep it up. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, we're gonna keep cranking out content, and my plan is to, at some point, I keep saying this, but to probably dump the Jetta and get something else on here too, like something that I can daily, but something I can also make videos on. But yeah, we'll keep plugging away, keep making a bunch of videos. Michael Smith, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Man, you're not going to bed. It's Friday night. It's only 10 there. You're good. It's quarantine season. You got nowhere else to go. You're good. Mighty Mouse. Glad you made it home. Crushing it with the daily uploads. Let me know if you have a crew that wants to do a cruise. Sometimes I'll join. We might end up doing a cruise this weekend, actually. Or if you want to go somewhere, I'm down too. So hit me up, Cam. Let's go. Paint Gun Express. What's up, man? Black Sunday Jess. Does the 05 Ram have a blinker relay or 4 LEDs or resistors are our only option? I think the 05 has it all built into the, what the hell do they call that thing again? The distribution block. Like it's got like a power distribution block? Power distribution block. I don't know. I think they call it PD something, but it's your fuse box. It has all the relays built into it and all that stuff. I don't think they were changeable. I could be wrong, but I think on the 05, your easiest bet's going to be to do the resistors, unfortunately. But yeah, somebody might be able to correct me, but I think by 05, the fuse box has all the relays and everything built into it, and there's nothing you can yank out and swap, as far as I know. But better than that, try to just get LEDs that are CAN bus compatible, and then you don't have to mess with hacking your wiring harness. I'll be doing all that on this 05. That's an 05 as well. So tomorrow I'll be dropping a LED headlight video for the 05. I swapped out the headlights to LED. I'll tell you now that I will always give you guys my honest opinion. I always have, different companies that, want me to try different products and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I will tell you guys. So I ended up putting LED kit in there. I don't want to spoil it, but outcome wasn't as desired. And yeah, I'm still on the lookout for better LEDs. So the ones that we had in here are better than the ones I put in there. So I'm going to do a bit of an experiment. We'll do a comparison and kind of a shootout. I'll try the LEDs since they're the same bulb type for the Dakota as the 05 Ram. They're 9007s. I'm going to try the ones from this and that and maybe see if it's just the headlights suck, those aftermarket headlights, or if it's actually the bulb. I think it's the bulb, honestly. But I'll get to the bottom of it. Ooh, hold on. Somebody just donated 20 bucks. Let me see who it is. Ben Davidson. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, you guys just keep surprising me with all this stuff. So, yeah. I mean, I've just been spending all my own money on this stuff. And, I mean, it's always been something that I've done. And it's my passion. So, I don't think I would be doing it any different. But, having your guys' support and, having an outlet to show you guys and share with you guys, it kind of makes it all worth it at the end of the day. So, this is kind of my outlet. This kind of, I don't know, gets rid of all my stress and anything else. And this is just stuff that I like to do. So, I think it's really cool, little community that we've built so far. And this isn't the end all be all. I want to see this grow even bigger, but it's fun. It's cool. I appreciate you guys. And, Ben, thank you for 20 bucks. I mean, I know it's 20 bucks, but I mean, at the same time, it'll definitely go to good use, and I appreciate it. Any little bit that you guys give me, thank you again. Jonathan says, do you think if you welded the belly pan to the kegger intake on the Dakota, it would hold boost? Budget build problems. I don't think that's the problem. So on the kegger, it's a steel pan, right? But the problem is the gasket that they use and the difference in materials, the aluminum versus the steel. I think it's Hughes. I think Hughes makes it. Somebody makes it. I'm pretty sure it's Hughes. They make an aluminum kegger belly, and apparently that expands and contracts at the same rate as the aluminum of the kegger, and then you don't have it blowing the gasket out, because when you have a steel pan and you have the aluminum kegger and they're both heating and cooling at different rates, that's where it sits there and does this with the gasket and eventually spits it out. So I don't think there's a problem with it holding boost, but I think you just gotta probably get that aluminum belly and then you should be okay. Or I guess, like you said, you could weld it solid and that would be the end of that. James said, James again from Massachusetts. I think you need to get a Mustang, huge aftermarket, and with your skill, I believe the channel would explode with Mustang followers as it has been around forever. Yeah, I was thinking the Mustang too. I don't know. I had this conversation with my buddy, and you guys can let me know what you guys think too. He said, do you really need another car? And I mean, if it's not a car, it's a truck, right? And I said, do I really need another truck? I don't know which one I need. I think part of the fun thing would be if I got a truck that was an actual useful truck, in the sense of we could actually use it as a truck. You know, this little Dakota, even if it was in stock form, you're not supposed to tow with it. I know there's a huge lawsuit back in the day because it has a truck engine, like the same out of the Ram, but the towing capacity of this truck is, you know, very low. You're not supposed to really tow much with it. The SRT-10, you could probably get away with towing it, but it's not ideal. It's got a 6-speed manual in it. The suspension isn't set up for it from the factory, and then with us, you know, lowering it a bit, it really isn't set up for it. Plus, that's a low mileage, limited edition truck, and I'm not gonna just drive it around like a normal truck all the time. So there's two useful or useless trucks for you. So that's what I was thinking. Either we get like a Silverado and try to keep it normal somewhat, you know, do some cosmetics on it, but at least keep it reliable. Don't go crazy with it. You know, just something that we could tinker with, but then I could tow a trailer with, so we could tow some of these things, like tow this to the track, tow the S2000 to the track. Silverado would be a popular vehicle. I don't think I could do an F-150. That would be really taking a kick in the nuts for me. But I'm not a huge Ford guy, and mostly I just don't like the seats. Every single time I sat in like an F-250 or an F-150, like the seat is just driving me mental. I don't know what it is, but something to do with the seats in the F-250s that just always made me crazy. Whenever you wore a seatbelt, it was like it was just pulling on you weird. But slightly off topic. But yeah, it's either that or we could do the Mustang, but I'm trying to think what would be the most practical out of the two. I don't know if I told you this, I almost bought a 99 Cobra when I was in Texas. I found a 99 Cobra, I went to look at it. I didn't film the situation because it was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't really a situation to film. It would have been fun to film, but I was looking at it, and it was a 99 Cobra, had 150,000 miles on it, it was black. It had ugly interior, it was all tan, but it was a true Cobra. It had the motor and everything. The lifters, the motor was knocking in the thing. But I researched it, and there's 32 valves in those Cobra motors, and there's 32 hydraulic lifters, and they are super common to go bad in them. I also looked up how to change them, and you can literally just take the valve cover off and change them with a flat screwdriver. And they were selling them at AutoZone for like $7 for a new lifter. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, cool, we'll get this cheap, you know, Cobra. I'll go to AutoZone, get the lifter, change it, drive it across the country. It'd be a fun little trip, and then we would have a Mustang Cobra here on the channel. That was what was going through my head. The guy had it listed for $4,500. I went there, and it looked like a $500 car. The thing was absolutely destroyed. Like, to the point, and I've salvaged, you know, some pretty beat up stuff, including this Dakota when we first got it, but this was like way pushing the amount of work that I felt I would want to put in this thing. Like it was so beat up, you guys. The hood was all broken from the inside, and I asked him what happened, and he really didn't want to say. It was kind of getting a little shady, but the roof was all caved in. And finally, he told me that his friend borrowed the car or something, and the hood flew up, smashed the whole roof. The windshield was cracked. Those things have, I think it's called a hydro boost, where the brakes, it doesn't have, you know, power brakes, like a brake booster from vacuum. The power steering pump is connected to the master cylinder, and that's what gives you power brakes. And that thing was just puking fluid all over the place. There was all sorts of fluid below. The exhaust was cut off and hanging. The shifter was super loose. There was cords showing through on the tires, and the motor was knocking, like I mentioned. The paint wasn't that good. The interior was all tan, but all dirty everywhere. It was just roasted. I drove it. It was kind of fun, honestly, but it wasn't fast. It just sounded like hell. The steering wheel like shakes when you drive it. So I thought, honestly, the AC didn't work, he said. Just everything was wrong with this car. and I was thinking about getting it, but I honestly did not think it would make it back. And I didn't want to be stranded out in the middle of nowhere with this piece of crap car. I actually got him down to $2,800 for this 99 Mustang Cobra, which would have been a good price, but looking back on it, the amount of money that I would have spent to get it up to, you know, a decent standard wouldn't have been worth it. So ended up backing up out of that, and yeah, we'll save the money for something more usable. I think that's what we should do. Oh damn, Mike Spratt, keep your head up. I know times are rough, but you're doing good things. Thanks, brother. Like I said, appreciate it. You know, like I said, all this stuff's gonna go back into it. I'm keeping positive with the whole thing, and I'm gonna keep plugging away, keep making content, and that's all I can do at the end of the day. All I need you guys to do is, you know, support the channel, share videos. I think that's one of the biggest things that I don't really say too much is, if you guys share the videos, like if there's different forums or groups or Reddit or any of that stuff, if you guys share the videos that you like or you think are entertaining, or, you know, a video that you think I did a good job on, if you share them in the different outlets, YouTube looks at that and sees external sources coming into the videos, and that's when they actually start promoting the video. They look at it from a, you know, point of view of all these people are coming from different websites or different places, linking to this video, and this video must be, you know, something decent. So if you guys share the videos, you know, with your friends or in different groups, whether it's, you know, Facebook or anywhere those types of places, then I think the channel should, you know, go where everyone, you know, wants it to go and where I want it to go. But appreciate it again, Mike, and, you know, Ben, and Our Lady, everybody, you know, for chipping in. Like I said, it's gonna go to good use, you guys, and the Dakota is gonna get fun here in 2 weeks, I think. That's when the cam should be here. But in the meantime, we still have our hands full, and I've been trying and hoping that the channel would get to 50K so I could finally announce the build for this Viper. I got a ton of cool stuff for this. One of the other things that I'm kind of thinking now is, if everything goes smoothly with the cam install on this, I would love to throw a cam in the Viper. It's just 2 more extra cylinders. The engine design is almost the same as the Magnum, honestly, and I think this would be absolutely insane with a cam on it. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun experience. I'll walk you guys through I'll be completely honest with you guys, I've dealt with overhead cam stuff and VTEC and you know, overhead cams and timing and all that stuff, so I understand all the concepts, but I've never done a push rod engine, and it's kind of a more primitive engine and should be more simple. So for whatever reason, I've just never had the need, or, you know, I've never had to do like a cam in one of these. So I'm going to take you guys along for my full honest first experience on doing a cam on this, and I'm not scared at all. It's something that I'll just have to, you know, make sure I take my time with, but it's something I know I can do. But I will take you guys along for that journey on putting the cam in that truck, and then once I feel comfortable with doing it, I'm going to look into maybe getting one for this. I know funds are kind of limited, so this might not happen obviously anytime soon, but I do eventually want to put a cam in this, and I've got some cool stuff for this that I'm dying to show you guys once we get this channel cooking a little bit more. But everything for this car is sitting here. I just haven't announced it yet. So we got a lot of stuff going on though. And then Jason's truck is, I'll talk a little bit about Jason's truck because you guys haven't seen that, but you'll see it soon. So he has also a 99 single cab Dakota RT. Right now it's wrapped orange, I believe. And he's got a bunch of cool mods. So his is actually lower, but I think he wants his to sit a little bit more of the ride height of mine. Mine's actually on the lift right now, that's why it looks high. It normally sits a bit lower, but yeah, we're gonna get his all sorted out too so that it rides decent, because right now it's like pretty much riding on the frame. I haven't driven in it because he's got it apart, but apparently it rides pretty rough. So yeah, we're gonna have his truck on here too, so it should be a lot of content. So as long as you guys are around for the ride, we'll keep going here. How are you guys all doing with all this nonsense too? I mean, is it how's the whole lockdown thing going with you guys? I'd like to hear some of those comments too. Nathan, okay, cool. Thanks. I'm looking for a tuner. I'm gonna go look into HP tuners. Yeah, I mean, I would look into it. It's you don't quote me on this, but I think if you're gonna do like an '01, I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but if you were gonna do like a say a Dakota or like an like I don't know like a JTEC, so it could be like 97 to let's say '02 Dodge Ram, Dodge Dakota, like in that kind of time range. I think, don't quote me on the price, I think the MPVI2, which is HP Tuners, handheld, that's only, I think, a few $100, and then the credit, you only need one credit, unless they've changed things, I haven't looked lately, but the credit is like $49.99, so call it $50. So realistically, you could, and once you buy that credit, you can tune that VIN as many times as you want. It's like once you license that VIN, you can just write to it as many times as you want. And I think that would only be running you a few $100. You'd have to pay a tuner, unless you really know what you're doing, you'd have to pay a tuner to send you and write you a file. So you'd probably have to talk to somebody like, Flying Ryan or somebody of like that to send you the tune. You tell them your mods, they'll send you the file, and you'll be able to write that file with your MPVI2 and the credit. But I think that might be the cheaper route. It depends what you want to do. I mean, I think as opposed to getting something where you're getting a canned tune, which really isn't going to do a whole lot, I think it might be a pretty good bargain. I don't know. I'd have to look at the price and what the comparables are, but I never really thought of it that way because I already had my MPVI2 from my Ram, and the Ram took a ton of credits. I think I burned through a few $100 in credits before HP2 tuners came on board. But I know these older Dodges, they're pretty cheap to tune with HP tuners because they only take one credit. I think my Ram, I burned up like 6 credits at $50 a piece, whatever the math is on that, right? A few $100. Michael Smith, there used to be someone who used to make them in the Dakota community. I can't remember who. I think you're talking about the brake stuff, but yeah, if you guys find out, let me know. Ben P, I had the stock SLT chrome bumper with no fogs, and now I got the same style chrome bumper that has fogs. Oh, nice. How to wire in the fogs. Yeah, I don't know if you could do like wire the fogs into the factory harness, or just run a switch and throw a relay on it. That'd probably be the fastest way, but yeah, I don't know about wiring it into the factory wiring. It might be more headache than it's worth. Michael Smith, yeah, so we just went over it. So I'm gonna run the stock rockers, it's the 1.6s. The way we're gonna spec the cam out, it's gonna almost accommodate for it. When I talked to Brian at IMM, he said the difference between him speccing the cam with the 1.7s versus him speccing the cam without the 1.7s, like just the stock rockers, it would only be the difference of like 12 horse. For $300, 12 horse, I was just like, we'll just end up putting the blower on it and end up making that power up after. So if this was going to be like the end all be all setup, and we're going to keep those heads and like the stock heads, and we weren't going to put on better ones, I would probably do the 1.7s. But right now, it doesn't really make a difference. We're going to completely probably change the setup later. This is just a fun little setup. It's a budget setup to get us running. I mean, the whole thing only costs about $500 for what we're going to do to the Dakota. So yeah, pretty good bargain in my opinion. So it's going to be fun though. I can't wait to hear the Dakota lumping. I think that's going to be awesome. Darren says, S2000, what's the news on the wrap job? Are you and your next race at the track? So as far as the wrap job, I know I kind of mentioned it before, but there was some unfortunate events, and yeah, I still can't really say too much. But yeah, one of our friends ended up passing away, and it was kind of unfortunate. I mean, it was a road rage incident, and they're still looking for answers, but yeah, that was all tied in. Unfortunately, some stuff happened with Ben and his son, and without getting too personal about the whole thing, the S2000 kind of got put on the back burner, as you can imagine. So the wrap job isn't a priority right now. We're not using it yet, so I'm not sure. We might go pick it up. I still have to, at some point figure that out. But I'm just, it was supposed to be, you know, something we were going to tackle and make content on and stuff like that. But that happened, and you know, as you can understand, it's kind of a rough time right now for Ben and his family. So yeah, it's just not a priority at this point. But as far as track events go, I have a track event booked for the middle of May, but I don't know if it's going to end up happening. So I already have it booked. I paid for it. It's supposed to be the middle of May. I hope that it goes on because I would love to get out to the track and get out there with the S2000 again. And now that we finally have it set up with some good tires, I think it'll be super fun. But I don't know, with the announcement that Trump made, maybe it will happen. I hope it happens, since, I mean, you're in your own car by yourself on the track, so really the whole social distancing thing should be fine. But I don't know if it's still going to go on. I hope so. But yeah, that's the deal with that. I still have to do there was still some body work that had to be done to the S2000 before it got wrapped too. So even if I go pick it up, I might do the body work here. I know Ben was originally going to take care of that. Yeah, I'm thinking I might just do the body work myself, since it needs some fiberglass work and some touch-up stuff before the wrap went on it, and then the wrap can get done. Like, we already have the material for the wrap and all that stuff, and it's gonna look badass. So you guys are gonna love the look of it. But like I said, it's just with everything that's going on right now, it's something that kind of got put on hold at the moment. But it's okay because we have a ton of stuff to keep busy with. But yeah, that's the situation with that. Enrique, as we continue going this pandemic, I appreciate all the content from the channel. Keep it coming and stay safe. Always love the Dakota content for sure. Mopar, great work. Thanks, brother. Thanks again for your continued support too. Yeah, I mean, the Dakota was a love-hate relationship for a while, but I think now it's finally getting to a point where we've literally changed so much stuff in the Dakota that I think it's starting to come around. Because when we got this thing, it was in super rough shape, and it seemed like every time we tried to work on something or touch something, it was just, you know, a nightmare, and we were just uncovering something else that was broken or not in good shape. But this weekend's, so tomorrow you guys will end up probably seeing the video on the Ram with the LEDs and that whole comparison that I did on those headlights. And I think either tomorrow or Sunday, I haven't decided yet, I want to try and tackle the energy suspension front bushings on these. So I have all energy suspension bushings on the Viper. I've had them for like 3 or 4 years. I use a specific type of grease so that it doesn't squeak. So I'll be doing that with that. I'll show you guys all that stuff too when I do it. But the front end of the Dakota, the bushings are like pounded out of it, and it squeaks like crazy right now with the stock bushings. So what I do want to do is, hopefully this week, is if I can get the bushings in it this weekend, I want to finally get an alignment on the truck once all the bushings are replaced, and I can take the truck for an alignment and get it driving good, and then probably go get some exhaust work on the truck too. I don't know if that's going to happen before or after the cam, but I want to fix the exhaust so that it sounds a little bit better and comes out behind the back tire. Because right now, it being a short cab, short box, the exhaust is like dumping and it's just droning inside the cab. So I want to make it a usable truck, like something that's a little bit more comfortable. And since we have the new shocks in the front, we'll get the new bushings there, and then we'll do the new shocks in the rear too. So this thing should ride pretty good. That's what I'm hoping for. Hoping to maybe tackle that this weekend. But either way, you guys are going to see back-to-back videos. I'm going to keep the consistency up. So all you guys got to do is just support, you know, watch it, share it, and let me know if you guys want me to do anything different, and we'll keep plugging along. Justin, my opinion, SCT or HP tuners? I think I answered that one earlier. Like I said, my unbiased opinion, you know, I'll have you guys know, full disclaimer, HP Tuners is a sponsor, but prior to them even being a sponsor, I was, you know, I tested some different ones and I landed on HP Tuners, bought everything with my own money, and it wasn't until we started doing a bunch of stuff and I started using it and talking about it, that HP Tuners came on board. So my unbiased, choice was HP Tuners before all this, and I'm still happy with it. Otherwise, I would have switched. But yeah, I would say HP, but you guys make your own informed decision. I think if I haven't answered your question already, because I know I've talked about the HP for a little while here already on this live, but I would go with the HP personally. But make your own informed decision, or rewind to this. I don't know when I talked about it, but I talked a lot about HP Tuners in this live chat too. I know. Michael Smith says you can get around the smog in Texas. I know. I know it's definitely, in California, it's definitely the most locked down state with that stuff, but I don't know. We'll see what comes. Justin. Oh, New York has the same laws when it comes to engine swaps. Yeah, some states you can pretty much, as long as it has wheels on it and a steering wheel, you can drive it. I know Florida is super laid back. I mean, with what we're doing, it almost sometimes seems better to be in one of these states where you can literally drive a wheelbarrow on the streets. Mopar 564, when are we going to get a new video on the SRT-10? So I posted the one today, not that exciting. I know, like I said, I mentioned in the beginning of this video, sometimes I'll make videos that are just straight to the point, not that exciting, but I'll show you how to do something. Maybe not you guys, because you guys are, with me for the long haul, but there's some guys that will just type in Google or YouTube, how do I change my headlight? And those videos, hundreds of thousands of people will search that, and that's what those videos are for. So just know that that's what they're for. So today's video that came on this channel was how to replace the headlight, or how to take it out so you can change your bulbs. Reason why I made that video is because I combined that with the video you'll see tomorrow on me putting LED bulbs in the 3rd gen Ram headlights, and my comparison and honest review on that. But I'm not done there yet. I'm still going to improve on the LED setup, and I still have to do the LEDs around the whole truck. So you guys will be seeing a bunch of lighting mods coming with the SRT-10 next. And then once we finish all lighting mods, I'll figure out what we're going to do next to that truck too. But right now, I mean, I'm trying to stay somewhat focused. I know we got so many different projects and vehicles. I'm trying to alternate to keep everybody happy, because as you can see, somebody's asking about the SRT-10. A lot of people ask about the Dakota. Some guys will ask about the Viper. Some guys will ask about the S2000. So trying to keep everybody happy and keep every project doing something. But it's fun. It keeps it interesting for me. Hopefully keeps it interesting for you. Philly says Dakota with a big old flex. Yeah, Dakota's going to be ripping pretty soon. Dark Knight says, what's the price of those bored out throttle bodies? I don't have any at the moment, but when I do, I will announce it. Send me an email. I'll tell you the price. Trevor, sweet. I'll keep my eyes open for when they come back. Project ADD. You can practice on them, then work the current heads. There's a lot of gains just from doing that. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. You could probably do a bunch of stuff to the heads. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna, I don't know. What do you guys want to see? You guys want to see me get a Dremel kit and start going all to town on the stock heads and see what we can do? I mean, it's kind of just gonna be shooting in the dark. I mean, you could just clean things up. Or would you rather see me do it properly and ultimately get, one of the sets of Jason's heads done properly from the machine shop with the flow bench? That's the proper way to port and polish stuff. But I mean, we can do it either way. Whatever you guys want to see. The problem is you don't have a benchmark to know where you were at and where you're at afterwards. Because when I take the heads off, if I were to take a grinder to them, we're going to be doing the cam at the same time. So was it the cam, or was it me taking an angle grinder, not angle grinder, but taking a Dremel to the head? It's like, you never know. Unless you put the cam in with the stock heads, tested it, dynoed it, saw the power, ripped it all back apart, took the Dremel to the heads, and then put them back on, and then took it to the dyno again, and then said, oh, we lost 10 horsepower, oh, we gained 10 horsepower. But that is a ton of work. I don't know if I want to do all that. I just want it to work. I want to actually, you guys know that if you've been around for a while, we've been tinkering with this damn Dakota forever. For once, it would be nice if it stayed together and everything just worked for a few months. Give me a few months, you guys, of this truck working so that we can just enjoy it, have fun, make it somewhat fast, go beat up on some cars or whatever, or some trucks. And then once we get bored of it and we want more, then we can do that. But I haven't even enjoyed it that much. Honestly, this truck has just been a project the entire time. Like, we cleaned it all up, got it looking decent, changed a bunch of stuff, threw a supercharger on it, started to get it running good, and then it blew up. And then we were down for a while, had to find an engine, just got it running. Then all this nonsense happened in the world, and we're finally getting back on track. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I'll rip apart the other engine, we'll build that one properly, and yeah, then we'll throw more boost at it. But for now, we'll keep it like a safe boost level on this engine, and then we'll run that for a bit, and then we get bored, we'll go more boost, properly built engine, and we'll just keep turning things up. And then obviously transmission is going to have to be next to start holding all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be an exciting process, but I'm gonna take it one step at a time. I mean, I don't know how much fun there is in going full send, and I don't have the 6 to 8 grand that it would cost for me to drop that long block off at IMM and have them fully build the engine. That's kind of where we're at with that. So I think doing it this way, I dropped about $500 on a cam and springs, which it's still money, it's still decent amount of money, but I think for $500, getting this thing breathing a bit better and getting it sound cooler. I mean, it's gonna sit there and thump like crazy, which is gonna be cool in itself. Even if it's slow, if it's sitting there thumping, it's gonna sound badass. But yeah, we'll start with that, and then, like I said, we'll open up that other engine, see how bad it is, and I don't know, maybe, just maybe, I'll order the pistons myself. Maybe I'll do a bit more research on engine building, since it's a fairly straightforward engine, and maybe I'll, hone it with the, those ball hones, hone it myself, throw the pistons in, check the ring end gaps, do the whole bearing thing. I haven't had to do the bearings on the bottom end, but maybe we'll build the short block. We'll get IMM to throw the heads together with a port job on it, and maybe we can put an engine together cheaper than we thought. But let me get the cam in this, and let's go have some fun first. Sound like a deal? Let's do it. Paint Gun Express says to give it a thumbs up. Yeah, if you guys haven't given this video a thumbs up, definitely do it. If you guys are liking us hanging out, I'll do more of these. And let me know in the comments, like, what's a good schedule for you guys. I was, I don't know if it's Fridays or Saturdays, or I feel like every single day feels the same these days with everybody being locked in their house. But let me know what days and times work for everybody. I try to accommodate you guys too. What about the lifters and rods? Are you going to need something a bit more hardened or stock ones? So, to answer your question, like on the last video with talking to Brian at IMM, he builds engines. So he told me I should be okay with the stock push rods and the stock rockers. We're going to put new OEM springs in it, and he's going to shim them to give them a bit more pressure. And he's going to spec the cam based on all of those things. So, I mean, he's an engine builder. I don't claim to be an engine builder, and I'm going based off what he said. I'm going to have to check to make sure the push rods, do have the correct amount of tolerance or play, or clearances, but he's going to spec the cam so that we can use the stock push rods and stock rockers just with a new set of springs. So I'm going off of his word. This is his configuration, so I'm just going along for the ride. I'm going to slap it together and we'll see where we end up. If we have to get a set of push rods, he said they're only like $80 to $100, so it's not a big loss. But he said we should be okay with stock push rods, so should be fun. I'm excited to hear how that thing sounds. Eduardo, what's up, John? Carlos, it sounds like a plan. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And like I said, he said the parts will be here in about a couple weeks, so. Ben, no problem, every little bit helps. Yeah, man, thanks again, you guys. I'm just running through the comments, but everybody that donated, in today's chat, thank you, appreciate it. And I'll keep ordering the parts, keep going. I also, just as far as money, just so you guys have an understanding of how much goes into this thing. Like, I dropped $550 for the cam and the springs that are gonna go on that. and I also have to get some odds and ends. I have to get some gaskets, like the timing cover gasket, and I also have to get the tool to be able to compress the springs with it on the head. I have the big C-clamp one that if the head was off, I could compress the spring, but I have to get there's a tool that you can get to compress the spring on the head, which I'll have to get. I also have to get something to be able to pressurize the cylinders, so it's gonna be some tools involved, so we'll say an extra $100 or so for that. So that's about, you know, 650 bucks. Also not a priority, but these tires on the Viper definitely need to be changed. I managed to scoop up a set of ACR spec Kumo tires. I got 3 of them, but I need to buy the 4th tire, so that's another I think 200 bucks on sale that I'm gonna grab one of the front tires for. So right there, without, you know, doing too much, there's like $1,000. So always something, you guys. Always something. I'm not complaining. These are problems that I brought on myself, but just a lot of money to keep the wheels moving for sure. So like I said, all the money from YouTube, any of the support you guys give, it's going back into this thing. And I'm also gonna buy some different LED bulbs because I really was not impressed with the ones that we put in the Ram that you can see behind me with the black housing headlights. So we'll get it tuned up though. Michael Smith, Hughes makes the aluminum plenum kit. Yeah, I was right. I was pretty sure. So just so you guys know, I've never had to deal with the Magnum stuff, so I don't claim to be a Magnum engine expert. I'm just gathering knowledge, you know, as I'm getting more familiar with my own truck and these trucks and these engines. And yeah, I know there's some guys that have been, you know, tinkering with this stuff for years, but I've done it with different kinds of engines, but I'm just getting up to speed with these ones too. So I was pretty sure it was Hughes, and Michael confirmed that Hughes does make the aluminum belly pan for the plenum. Mike, so thanks Mike for sending the money. I'm going on next comment too. Mark, quick question. What? Hold on, I'm trying to read through this. Yeah, so I'm back home, if you guys are wondering too. So was in Texas for a little bit. Now I'm back in California. Christopher, yo, I have a 2-wheel drive Dakota as well, a 99 V8. I'm gonna have to change my rear main seal. Wanted some advice on how to drop the pan. Yeah, so I'm gonna be honestly, I'm pretty sure my rear main seal on this one's leaking too. I don't know if I should, but I was thinking of trying, because I think I still have some somewhere. It's a lot of guys swear by it, and it's almost like that Scotty Kilmer guy, you know, used it, and a lot of people tried it. I think it's like, don't quote me on the name of it, it's like ATP 200 or something. And it's one of these bottles. It's like one of these stupid snake oil bottles, but apparently it actually works, where you put it into your oil and it swells the seals. And a lot of guys have fixed the rear main seal leaking issue on a bunch of different vehicles. So I was thinking of trying it, just almost like a fun video, but the only thing is, with me probably cooking the bearings of the last engine, I don't know if I want to put any weird snake oil stuff in my oil and potentially, you know, cook the bearings out of this engine too. So I might just do it the right way and just change the seal, but it's not like puking out right now, but it is gonna be needed too. So I'll probably eventually have a video on that for you guys, but I haven't done it yet on the Dakota, so I can't comment exactly. Oh, Justin's already got you, man. Chris, lift the motor 2 inches and then the pan will come right out. Super easy. There you go. See, we have like a little community. Everybody's got the answers, so that's cool. Good stuff. Yeah, if you guys know the answers to some of these questions, you know, feel free to help some of these guys out. Oh, see, ATP 205. Leaky Jeep already beat me to it. So I was thinking, I think I have a bottle of it somewhere, because I tried it on something else, but it was too far gone. But yeah, it might be worth a shot. Yeah, see, Justin's confirming what I'm saying too. Chemical fixes will just cause more issues later on. Just do it right the first time. I don't know. So, I mean, putting some of those chemical stuffs in there, I'm sure it might, you know, swell up the seals, but what else is it doing inside your engine? That's kind of what I'm like, I don't know if I want to put these weird chemicals in there. Mike says, I'm still working, so I'm not really locked down. I'm a mechanic for American Airlines. Other than that, just fixing up all my cars. Nice. Nice. No, it's good. I'm glad that, some of you guys are, hopefully most of you guys are still employed and stuff like that. So, it's some weird times. I know, Trump just announced that everybody can get back to work too. So, it should be interesting. I think everybody's watching pretty closely to see what happens. I know when I traveled through the airport, it was so dead that it was just like, it was a wake-up call, you guys. Like, I know you see on the news and you see, like, everything's in, the economy's not in good shape and, this is shut down or that is shut down. But just, like, walking through an airport, which should be, like, flowing with people and traffic and people getting a bite to eat before they get the flight or whatever, it's like, nobody's really traveling to visit, family remotely. Nobody's going on vacations. Nobody's really going to make those, business meetings or business ventures or any of that stuff. It's like everything is just shut down. And seeing it at an airport like that, it just really sunk in, like, how locked down in the state everything was in. It was just, I don't know. For me, it really, really was shocking. I mean, I know you hear about it, but seeing it firsthand was something else, just how dead those airports were. Joy Rock, do you plan on doing more work on the C63 AMG? Yeah, we'll see. That's the plan, but we will see. Michael Smith, run the 1.6 Harlan Sharps. Yeah, I think, like I said, we're going to get fancy with the whole valve train stuff on the other heads and stuff, like an actual good set of heads. We're not going to go too crazy with this right now. It's just, we're going to throw a cam in it and just have some fun. And then we'll build a proper engine. Jesus, however you want to say it. My 2013 5.7 Ram with 110 just messed up from the lifter. What do you recommend put back in? I would take a negative and turn it into a positive. It's kind of just my aspect on life. If your lifters, you wiped out the cam with the lifter issue that's common on those newer 3rd gen Handmates with the MDS, I would maybe throw a mild cam in it. Like, I mean, if you're going to replace the cam and the lifters and all that stuff, why not, take it as an opportunity to upgrade that stuff. If it's not something that's going to be obnoxious and annoying for you, right? Like, I wouldn't say that if it's your daily that you tow with and you drive it all the way across country to go and put some big obnoxious cam in it, but if it's your toy and you don't mind having a bit of fun with it, I would say throw a nice cam in it and make it a little bit badass. That's what I'm doing with this thing, so that's what I would do personally. Maybe not too crazy with the cam, but I would take it as an opportunity to upgrade it. I mean, competition cams are only a few $100. I mean, if you could do the work yourself or you get somebody to do it, but either way, you're going to be buying the parts, so you might as well buy something that's improved over stock, I think. Justin, my theory is that it is designed to go into any nook and cranny to plug it up. It doesn't always plug what you want and can plug something you don't want to. Yeah, I mean, those chemical stuff, I mean, it's not, the engine wasn't designed to have certain things in there, and maybe that ATP seal is one of them. I just think some of that stuff is a little bit weird, right? Like, putting it in there, you don't know what it's doing. Like, what is it doing inside your oil pump, where there's other seals in there, and you just don't know. So that's why I don't mess with it. Lucky James, please give my condolences to Ben and his family. Thanks, brother. I will do. It's just such an unfortunate event. If you guys are interested to know a little bit more about it, go check out and support Ben on his Instagram. If you guys have Instagram, his Instagram is Ben M6. So Ben M6. I think he spells his Ben's. I don't think it's with an S. I think it's with a Z. So BENZ M6. Or it might be BENS M6. I have to double check. I always get it wrong. Either way, you'll find him. It gives a little bit more insight on what happened, but they're trying to find, I guess, the suspect, and they're the suspect's out on the loose that actually, I don't know, it's just such a weird situation, you guys. I'm not good with talking about stuff like that, but yeah, they're trying to find the suspect to bring justice to Joseph, who is actually on this channel. It's with everything going on in the world, it's just so weird too. I mean, there's, you know, my friends. I mean, I'm friends with Ben, and I was friends with his son too. And like, if you guys ever watched the drag racing videos when we took the Viper to the track, and it was me, Ben, his son, and Jonathan, and we were all racing at the track. So I mean, he's been on the channel too. We also, you know, made videos on his car, his BMW. But I think they set up a GoFundMe if you guys want to go check it out, or if you guys, you know, want to try and help out in any sort of way. They're trying to spread, you know, some awareness and see if they can bring justice for Joe. That's what we're saying or calling it now, just because. Yeah, it's just a weird situation, you guys. But yeah, if you guys are interested in a little bit more of that, go and check out Ben's M6, or if you go to my Instagram page, Boosted Motorsports. So at Boosted Motorsports, you guys already know, same name as the channel as my Instagram. You'll see there that I made a post, and it's linking to Ben as well. So yeah, if you guys are curious, that's go and support them too, because I mean, they need all the support they can get. It's just a weird situation. Our Lady, you need to help your own analytics by attaching more hashtags. The more you use, the more better you need the money. Yeah, on the live stream, honestly. So the live stream, on this one I didn't do too much. Normally, I'll do tags. So there's two different things. If you guys are curious on YouTube, I can, let you guys know at least what I know. So there's tags, which is a YouTube thing, and there's hashtags, which is more like a Facebook, Instagram thing. So I don't know, probably within the last like 3-6 months, YouTube started using hashtags, and you can put, I think, up to 15 hashtags, but then you can put up to 500 characters worth of tags. So I usually do both, but the only reason why you probably, if you look at this one, doesn't say anything or show anything is because I just did this one for my phone. I wanted to let you guys know that as soon as I got home, because I was out today, that we would do the live stream. And it doesn't always, fill everything out, and it's a little bit hard to do it from my phone versus a computer. But I set up the live stream here, and then by the time I came home, that's why I was like 5 minutes late on this. I had to like run in the door and set this whole thing up. So, but yeah, I'm always tinkering with stuff. But yeah, it's a fun one trying to figure out the analytics with YouTube. Darren's Gray Goat says, go with the plan you have, John. Cam and the same 1.6s. I'm very interested in following that. As I'm about to do the same thing, it will be my first time doing it as well. Yeah, it's going to be fun, you guys. I mean, like I said, I'm spending $500 on the Dakota. We're going to put in the cam, the springs. I'm going to do the work myself. I'll take you guys along for the ride on that. So I'm going to be documenting the whole thing, and we'll see what Brian's cam sounds like and feels like in pretty much a stock engine, right? With the exception of probably the intake. And I'll have to double check, but I might leave the kegger on it, honestly, just initially. Because I think what I can do, I don't think the kegger has to come off to throw the cam in it, honestly. So what I might try to do is just pull the valve covers, pull the whole fronts, pull the water pump, pull the front timing set. I have to pull the crank pulley off, and then we will, take the rockers out, take the push rods out, and then we have to hold up the lifters. And I think I'll probably try to get the magnets so I can hold them so they don't drop in. I don't think they drop in on this, but I have to double check. Take the crank, or let's take the cam out. We'll put in our new cam, put on the timing set, make sure everything's all clocked, obviously. Put our push rods back in, put our rockers back on, and check all the clearances. And I don't think that I'll have to take off the intake manifold. So I think I might be able to leave, I don't know, I'll double check, but I think I might be able to leave the kegger on there. And we can try it just with the cam and the new springs. Obviously, I'll be changing the springs too. But try it just like that and see what kind of results we get. And then once we know that, then we can throw the M1 on separately and see how it goes. The only drawback to doing it that way is you have to change the intake manifold, you have to drop the coolant, and the coolant's already going to be drained for the cam install. You got to take off the water pump. So that's the only extra bit of work really, is just the coolant. Justin, off the bed, back to the shop tomorrow. Keep it up. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. Like I said, any bit helps. Even $4, man. Like I'm happy. I'm grateful, and thank you again. Appreciate it. Like I said, all this little bit, adds up, and I'll put it to use, you guys. I'll put it to use. More mods on the way for sure. Avil says, "Where's that box of Modelo?" Is it? Oh, I think I brought it in. I don't think it's in the back of the truck anymore. I don't think it's in the back of the truck, but that sounds good right about now, actually. Leaky Jeep. Would love to see someone change heads on a Magnum V8 and explain every step. It would be a long video, though. Well, you're in for a treat because I'm changing the heads on Jason's truck. We're doing it on this channel, so probably within a week or so. We have to still come up with the schedule or the timeline. But once Jason's truck gets towed here, you guys are going to see Jason's full build as well as my build. And we are going to be putting on the Indy X heads on his truck, and we're going to be removing his stock heads, and we're going to be putting I think the Hughes air gap is the intake we decided to go with on his. So all that is going to go on his truck, and then my truck will get the cam and probably an M1 intake, and we'll have 2 trucks ripping around. So it should be fun, and we're going to document both engine builds as well. It should be cool. What else do you guys want to talk about? I don't know how long I've been blabbing for so long. It feels like a while. I'm going to grab a drink though. I'm trying to think what other exciting stuff I have for you guys. So this weekend, like I said, we'll do the bushings, polyurethane bushings. I already have polyurethane bushings on the whole back of the truck. So we're going to do the polyurethane bushings hopefully on the front control arms, upper and lower. And we already did the shocks. Then we're going to do the shocks in the rear. And then we're going to try out those drop hangers, which are over there. So we're going to do Beltec Street Performance shocks on the back. And then this thing should ride pretty good. So, I got a brand new power steering rack in this thing. And then I could probably take this for an alignment so it actually drives normal and I can actually enjoy it a bit more. Because right now, this thing kind of drives like crap and it's kind of all over the road because it doesn't have alignment after we lowered it because we weren't sure where the end all ride height was going to be. And it's super loud, so I think we gotta go take it over to one of our buddies and get him to mock up an exhaust for it. Because I want to do a different exhaust and something that takes the exhaust out the back, because right now it's just dumping like behind the passenger door, which is kind of brutal right now. Yeah, so rear shocks on the Dakota, I have them, I think I showed you guys them. Let me grab them so I'll remind you guys again what we're doing. So these are the drop brackets that Jason had. So we're going to try these out. Pretty cool piece. So what this does is it's going to drop the shock down because the truck is lowered. The distance between the frame mount and the mounting point on the actual axle is short. So I think what's happening in a lot of situations is it's putting the shock in a weird part of the stroke. So by dropping it down, if this makes sense, let me see. By dropping this down, you're going to extend the shock a bit more, so it's working in the middle of the shock stroke instead of being all crunched up and at the end of its stroke. So I think it's supposed to give you a better ride. So hopefully these end up fitting. I'm not sure where Jason got these, but I can find out. But we're going to try these out with these shocks and get them on. Let's see if these actually... Yeah, right now they're compressed, but these are going to be pretty cool. So, Beltec Street Performance shocks. So we're going to get these on this weekend. And finally, that Dakota should ride nice. That's the plan. That is the plan. What else can I tell you guys? Long John Silver, what was your first car? My first car was, I don't know if I can call it my first car. My first car was supposed to be a 1995 Pontiac Sunfire at the time, which, I don't know, I was just cool. I was just excited to have a car, honestly. But we got that, and my dad bought me the car from an auction, and it was $500. But I don't think he meant to do it, but he bought the car, and after he bought the car, I don't know if he was there on site, but it was at an auction, an insurance auction. And then after the fact, he noticed like probably about like this big, maybe like, I don't know, a 4-inch round circle type deal. On the top of the hood, it was missing a bit of paint. And what had happened is there was an engine fire, so he bought a car that had an engine fire in it, and he didn't really know, but it would just bubbled the paint like this big in the middle of the hood. I mean, the rest of the car was fine, and at the time, I don't know how old I would have been. 95. I think I got my license like 2004-ish, maybe. So, I mean, the car was almost maybe 9 years old. So it wasn't like a bad car at the time, but it had caught fire, and I had to, all the wiring harness and stuff was melted, and I think the fuel line was melted. So I ended up having to go to the junkyard and finding all the parts that were melted, buying them, and, you know, stripping them, and then taking all the, you know, the melted junk out of the car, trimming all the wire harness and reconnecting all the wire harness and plugging everything in and getting it to run. Then once I got it running, my sister wanted it, and she had a Honda Del Sol. So I never even officially got the car, but it was, yeah, I ended up getting her Honda Del Sol because my sister at the time wanted every single new car that came to the family, and she was freaking out that she wanted this 95 Pontiac Sunfire, which I didn't really care. I just wanted a set of wheels, so we ended up giving her the Sunfire, and I took the Del Sol, which was fine. The Sunfire was automatic, and the Del Sol was manual, so I was bombing around in that for a little while. So that was my first car. I don't know. I don't know if I can claim that it was the Sunfire or the Del Sol. It was supposed to be the Sunfire, but I never officially got to drive it because she took it as soon as it was fixed. So Darren says, where can I get those drop shackles for the rear shocks? Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. I don't know exactly where Jason got these, but I'll find out from Jason, and I can try to get you guys a link for these once I figure out where they came from. Arlie says, Beltec sells a great kit, lowering brackets, shocks, and all. Well used to anyhow. Yeah, so I actually have pretty much all Beltec stuff on that truck. I had all Beltec on my Ram as well. So right now the setup is on this. It has a Beltec hanger kit on the rear, and then now it's going to have the Beltec Street Performance shocks. So that'll pretty much be the Beltec kit. Only difference is my front springs are RT springs, which a lot of guys were you know, not happy with what I did with the front end, but when I researched the forums, everyone said that that's what they did, and that the Beltec springs were pretty much just that. So my front end is stock RT springs with about one coil cut off of it. The suspension isn't like the spring, you can't go like this with it, it's still under tension. So that's one of the things, if you ever consider, I don't recommend it, but if you ever consider shortening the length of a spring, which I know a lot of guys will sit there and go crazy about talking about, so I don't even want to mention it, but if you ever do it, the problem with doing it and doing it incorrectly, not that there's a right way to doing it, but if you cut off too much, if you hit a bump and your suspension unloads, the spring can fall out, which is the big scare. But on these, everybody on the Dakota RT forums talks about doing it, so if you guys are interested in it, just Google it, you'll see it. And they just cut off a little bit of the spring, because the spring still is under tension when the suspension is fully unloaded. Like if I lift the truck up right now, you can't just grab the spring and pull it out. It's still stuck in there and it's under tension. So even though we lowered it and we cut off, you know, a section of the spring and we cut it off from the part, like usually a coil spring has two lines. Usually one of the sides is kind of like a full circle, and it's like a flat portion, and the other side is kind of like a hook. So in my opinion, if you're gonna do it, take it off the hook portion and not the part that's flat, and it's really no different. So just my opinion, don't take my word for it. I'm not a professional, I'm just do-it-yourselfer. But yeah, on all the Dakota forums, that's what they did. So that's the setup. So we have Beltec Street Performance shocks in the front. We have custom Dakota RT springs, Beltec rear hangers, and then we're gonna have Beltec shocks in the rear, the Street Performance ones. David says, what are the top tools you would suggest for working on a project vehicle in the driveway? Honestly, I've done so much. Like, if you guys watch my older videos, you'll see me working out of a storage unit. Yes, a storage unit. Kind of like Storage Wars, like that type of storage unit. So, before I saved up enough money to, get what you see behind me, I was living in a roommate situation, where I was just renting a room, and I was working on the weekends on, trying to build this YouTube channel. Like, this YouTube channel comes from such like humble beginnings. I was working out of a storage unit that I rented for a couple $100 a month, because that was the only garage space I could get. So with being in California, everything is super expensive, and I can only afford, with having the car, the Viper, which was my dream car, I barely scraped by to get that. And then I couldn't afford to have my own place and a Viper, my own place that had a garage. So what I had to do is rent a room in a house, just a room with a roommate situation, and rent a storage unit that I could stick my car in, and I had all my stuff in there. And I would work in that storage unit. It had no electricity, no lights, no nothing in there. I would go there during the day, and you're not technically supposed to work in one of those, but I did anyways. Is I would take my Ram and I would park right up against the door. I would open enough so the light would come in, but I would block in my storage unit, so anybody that drove by couldn't see me working in there, but I was working in there. And you'll see a lot of my videos, YouTube videos. If you guys ever watched the Ram 1500 fan video, which is getting pretty popular now, you'll see it's in a storage, it's in a storage yard. But going back to what you're saying, I worked on my Viper, and I did pretty much every single bolt-on in the entire car with a Craftsman toolkit like this one here. I still have it. So with this just simple Craftsman toolkit, I've worked on that entire Viper and did every single bolt-on, and even the supercharger kit, everything, until when you guys saw me go back home to my mom's house. That was when I actually got all my tools. But with this, it's kind of crazy to think about. It's almost like a sponsorship video for Craftsman or something. Like, up until December, when I went to my mom's house and got all my actual tools that I own, I built this YouTube channel off of this Craftsman toolkit, if you can believe it or not. I mean, I got some Harbor Freight stuff. Like, this doesn't come with that many wrenches. So I got like, just a wrench set, and I got like a Harbor Freight like impact gun or whatever. But I've done every single mod with pretty much what you see there, with the exception of some Harbor Freight wrenches. That's kind of actually crazy to think about. Where are we at? So yeah, David, to answer your question, don't go crazy with tools. I mean, like I said, I just showed you probably, I don't know what the heck that thing's worth, maybe $200 or something, maybe. But I mean, I've worked on all my cars with that Craftsman toolkit up until recently. And actually, I haven't even really opened up my actual toolkit, because it would be nice if I could do it this weekend, but I want to get my toolbox. I had like a 42-inch toolbox back home at my mom's, but I can only fit so much in the SRT-10 when I drove back, and the toolbox wasn't one of them. It was either take the tools or take the toolbox. So obviously you're going to take the tools instead of the box. So that's what ended up happening. But I want to try and get a toolbox in here soon. And then I can actually have because I have all the trays that go in every drawer of the toolbox, and keeps it all organized. Right now, you guys can't see it, but right here, all my tools are, actually I should show you this for fun. So this is what I'm showing you guys. Like right here, these are all my drawers for each thing. They're all like sitting here, so I don't even use them right now. This is like, you know, all my wrenches and extensions, and there's different wrenches, or ratchets I should say, all my different bits and all that stuff. Like everything is here. These that go in every single drawer, right? All the deep sockets. So I've just been using this for the last several years, so you can definitely get away with some basic stuff, you guys. Let's throw this back up. Put a Hemi in the Dakota. Trust me, I've wanted to, I've contemplated it, but then when it comes time to try to keep this thing on the road, it would end up being a nightmare. I used to have a RT, love the truck. Eventually, I would like to maybe Hellcat swap it, but if we make enough jam with the Magnum and stuff, I might just stick with it. Leaky Jeep, 20 bucks. Thanks, man. Like I said, you guys are more than generous tonight. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep plugging away with the mods. I mean, you guys are supporting me. I'll do my part. I'll keep cranking out the videos. I'll keep the mods rolling in, and we'll just keep plugging away, you guys. So appreciate it. Thank you, man. Like I said, I know a lot of these mods are really expensive, but every bit helps. So thank you again. Enrique, what are the first must-do mods for Ram RT 2018? First must-do mod. I mean, you can do a bunch of things. It really depends what you're trying to go for. I think one of the best mods on the 4th gen Ram is getting rid of the clutch fan. And even these, honestly. That clutch fan is like a propeller. Like, you know, a propeller off an airplane, off a small airplane. It's literally a huge, heavy-ass metal fan spinning. So having, removing that is removing a ton of drag off the engine. You don't have to spin that big propeller, and even when the clutch isn't fully locked up, it's still spinning. Like if you ever open your hood, I know there's a clutch on the fan, but if you ever open your hood, it doesn't matter. As soon as you start that engine, that thing is spinning all the time. And if you end up putting electric fan, you'll actually see, I think I was seeing something stupid like a 1 to 2, at least 2 mile per hour or mile per gallon fuel mileage gain by removing the mechanical fan off my Ram. So I would get rid of that, and on the 4th gen Ram, it's plug and play. You just order the V6 fan for a 09 to 12. If your truck's a 2018, as silly as this sounds, make sure you get an 09 to 12. Watch my video on it. I have the part in there in the Amazon description. You'll get the right one if you watch the video. But yeah, get that fan, you put it on. If you don't tune the truck, the fan will come on either when it hits about 220 degrees, or if you turn on your AC, the fan will come on. But either way, your truck won't overheat. That's only in like if you're stuck in traffic, then you'll see the temperature come up unless you turn the AC. Your temperatures will hit 220 and then it'll come back on. But that would be my number one mod, honestly. You're gonna get better gas mileage, you'll get more power, and it cleans up your engine bay, and you don't get that big stupid roaring noise when you start the truck. You know that big, you hear all the air rushing? That goes away. And the same thing with the Dakota, it just sounds a lot cleaner when you start it. That's my favorite mod. That would be my first go-to. You'll get power, gas mileage, and no annoying noise from the fan. Joy Rock, S2000 or 2016 MX-5 for track. I think I would have to still stay S2000. I know the Miatas are, well, yeah, that is Miata, right? MX-5. The Miatas are really good for the track, but they don't have as much power is the problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would be lying and I would be an idiot if I said that the Miata isn't a good track car, but there's no power at all. Like, they're so slow. I mean, they're one of the best handling track cars that you can get for cheap. Pros and cons. Pros of doing the Miata is you can run a smaller, cheaper tire on the Miata and have just as much grip as the S2000, but you're going to have less power. So I would say the Miata is probably cheaper to run, but you're gonna have less power versus the S2000 is gonna be a little bit more expensive. Because I mean, on my S2000 I have 255 wide tires on all 4 corners, whereas I don't know exactly what the size would be on Miata, but I know it could be a lot less and still handle equally as good. But I mean, the S2000 comes with a decent amount of power. It's definitely track proven. In my opinion, I don't know how much you can argue it, but I'd say the S2000 is a little bit cooler. I think it is, at least. I think it's a little bit bigger car. You know, I mean, you're talking 2 dinky cars, but at the end of the day, I still think the S2000 is kind of a cooler car. But that's just me. I always think that Miatas look like a big bar of soap. They have like no line to it, just a big bar of soap shape. But my opinion, like I said, I'm biased. I have an S2000, but those are the reasons why I chose S2000. Our lady says, my first mod was a Dassault with a B18. Oh, okay. Yeah, I almost feel like getting back into my Honda days. Like, it's just good, cheap fun. Would you guys ever be interested in something like that? Like a big turbocharged Honda something? Or eBay turbo kit on a Honda? I used to play with all that stuff back in the day. Not that I'm super old, but like in my late teens, early 20s, we used to build, turbocharged B series engines. I had a B16 turbo. I had a B20 VTEC turbo. I had a bunch of stuff. We had an Integra GSR. I had a Civic with a JDM B18 Type R engine. I had a bunch of different stuff. We used to always play with that stuff. That used to be like everything we were always doing. But it'd be fun to maybe get back into that with Honda. Honestly, when I was looking for projects in Texas, I found an RSX Type S that had a huge single turbo on it, and it was making, I think, 500 and something to the wheels, and the guy was asking like $5,000 for it. I was so tempted, but it wasn't the type of car that you'd want to try to drive across the country, because those cars, like a Honda with a turbo on it, is just like you're always wrenching on something. But I think that would be a fun car. But let me know if you guys are interested in something like that. Like, should we get like some sort of RSX or something, or Honda VTEC motor and boost the crap out of it? Because you can make like a ton of horsepower. Like even the S2000, I'm pointing over here, but it's not even here right now. But the S2000, my last one, I made over 700 horsepower on a stock S2000 engine. I was making 607 at the wheel on a stock engine. Like, you can make a ton of power, and that was our rear-wheel drive S2000. But let me know if there's any other different kinds of builds. Like, would everybody vote on a Silverado for the next like kind of cheap something to have on the channel? The Silverado wouldn't be a drag truck or anything. It would just be a daily, or we get something that we can mess with. Mark says, I have a 13 Ram and I did the fan conversion. I just feel like I smell coolant and feel like there's a hesitation when driving at low speeds unless I put it on 6th gear. Is there a way to fix that? I don't know why you would smell coolant if you did a fan conversion. There shouldn't be a hesitation either. That's weird. Yeah, I don't think there shouldn't be a reason why the fan would be related to coolant. I mean, unless your temperatures are running hotter, but I wouldn't know without knowing. And there shouldn't be a hesitation. You should have a little bit more pickup, if anything. Our lady says, love cheap kits. Seen a Miata with the LS, crazy fast. Yeah, there's a lot of different setups you can do. I kind of want like a cheap little project. I mean, I know the Dakota started off cheap, but now it's getting a little bit pricey. But I think it'd be fun to get a little cheap something. I honestly wish that Cobra that I was looking at was over here, because I would probably, even though as crappy as that thing was, I would probably try it. But not to sound like a capitalist, but I think there's probably going to be some good deals coming if things don't shape up in the economy. So not to take advantage of that situation, but I think if I bought something now, I have a feeling if we're going to get another project, there's going to be some cheap projects out there coming soon. So I don't know. I think we'll hang tight right now. I don't need to be spending any money that I don't need to, but I'm trying to sell the Jetta. If I sell the Jetta, that'll free up some funds that we can get into something else and play with something. Mark says, do I need a temp change? No, you don't need to change your thermostat if you're changing the fan. A lot of people do them both at the same time, but to take advantage of all three, you need to get a tuner and a tune to turn on your fans around like 190, 195, and then get a little bit lower thermostat. Maybe like a 180 thermostat or 185, somewhere around there. Texas Hombre, how much did the Pro Charger run? The Pro Charger was Jason's kit, so Jason already had the kit, so I didn't have to go out and buy it, I guess I could say. But yeah, as far as the Pro Charger kit, I don't know the exact price range of it. Darren's great. Go. I really like to see you daily the Dakota for a bit, and you can. And if you get a Silverado, make it a 2500 series that you could tow a trailer with, and haul the vehicle's track. Already prepped. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I don't want to spend a ton of money, so I think honestly, realistically, out of my Jetta, I could probably get around $6,000 out of it, which is what I'm trying to squeeze out of the Jetta. So I have that listed. If I get $6,000 out of that, I kind of wanted to find a Silverado for maybe like. I would honestly like to find a Silverado. There's something wrong with it. We could tow it here, or if I could drive it here, and then we'll fix it on the channel and get it running and get a good deal that way. But I don't know if I would get a diesel. But one of the things with getting a diesel in California is you really, really, really can't do anything with them. There's like, I mean, the emissions is so strict here. Like most people in like a lot of different states, you would, you'd want to delete a diesel, and you'd get way better power, right? And emissions and all that stuff, and just less problems. But you definitely can't do that here. And I don't think I would be able to get a diesel like a Duramax or even a Cummins for $3,000 to $5,000 unless there's like something extremely wrong with it. But I'll keep my eye out. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to do it, but I do want to keep my eye out and see what comes up. I just think I'm not going to get rid of what you guys see here, but I just think maybe bringing one of the, I know a lot of guys are Dodge or Mopar fans. You guys can admit that Mopar and what we have here is kind of the underdog and kind of the less popular vehicles out there, right? So I mean, Viper is definitely not a popular vehicle. Dakota RT, you guys know it's not a super popular vehicle in itself. That truck is definitely not that common. But I think if we got some, like, not to call it a boring car, but a more average car, truck, whatever, like a Silverado, so many people have those things. I think I ran the numbers before, and there's like, over 700,000 of those trucks sold every year. So lots of people have them, and if we get content with one of those trucks, it honestly could get this channel to go to the next level and bring in, a new crowd of people and more funds and all that stuff, to be able to push these projects to the next level. That's kind of just my thinking with the whole thing. So we get the more popular car, it brings in a whole new wave of people to the channel. They can at least discover us. They'll probably still be interested in these, but at least it'll bring new life into the channel, and then we can sink more money into these, or whatever you're gonna call it. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, to get something that we could tow some of these things, or even if we had a truck that was a useful truck and we could get a trailer, then if we saw a good deal on something or a project or something, we could drive the truck with the trailer and go pick it up and then bring it back, right? But I don't even have that option right now with these two trucks because they're kind of not real trucks. I mean, they're trucks, but they're not useful trucks, right? Where can you get a kit? I don't know. You'd have to Google. I don't know if Pro Charger still sells the kit for the Dakota, but I'm not sure. Probably have to just Google around and see who sells them these days. I know you had a problem with the tunes in your Ram, so what do you recommend? Like I said, completely unbiased opinion. but I chose HP Tuners. I think I said that a few times in this live stream, but I chose HP Tuners before they came on board as a sponsor. I paid with everything with my own money, and even to this day, I'm still happy with everything from them. They continue to add new vehicles and supported vehicles to the same device. You don't have to buy anything new. They just keep adding more supported vehicles that you can tune with their device. And I haven't had any issues. So I would say that, but I'll leave it up to you guys to do your own research, but that's my own personal opinion. I like the product. I bought the product with my own money initially. They liked what we were doing, so they jumped on board. So, yeah, I still would say HP Tuners, honestly. Somebody's out there ripping it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Oh, also, Darren, you said it, how you really like to see me daily to Dakota for a bit. That's what I want to get the Dakota to. Not to make it like, you know, too much of a whatever truck, but I do want to get the Dakota to the point where I can actually drive it and actually use it, because we've put so much work into it. I feel like it's such a waste to not be able to actually enjoy it. I mean, the Viper is its own animal, right? Like, it's not exactly the most practical car. It's not really a car that I can leave out somewhere, parked out somewhere, because, I don't know. It's just kind of like a little too nice, in my opinion. I know it's not a crazy expensive car, but this is just like my baby, so I don't want to just leave this thing out. That is another collector truck, but this, I think, just so you guys know, this truck is a salvage title. So I'm open about it. I bought it with a salvage title. We got it for cheap. It looks good, and you guys probably think it looks great from there. I mean, 5 feet away, the truck looks like $1 million. But at the end of the day, it's not a collector truck. It has like 160,000 miles on it, salvage title. So this we could actually go and have fun with, and I could use it as a daily, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to sell the Jetta and be able to daily this for, you know, at least some period of time until we find, and we'll keep an eye out for the next project car, or at least the next daily that we can still tinker with. I don't want to go too crazy with like another full-blown race car that's useless, because we're already got like 3 kind of useless vehicles that are sitting here, but yeah, I would like to eventually daily this somewhat. Mark says you should get a voting poll on what car truck you should get. Yeah, I think I can do that. I don't think I can put it on here. Can I? No. I can't put it on this, but I will put it, I'll make a post and you guys can decide. I think, like I said, maybe, oh, yeah, I still think Silverado would be cool. I mean, not as cool as a Silverado could be. I mean, I'm with you guys on that, but I think something like that would probably be the most practical. I think the Mustang thing would be fun. I just don't know if I need another, like, crazy car build. But, I mean, it really depends what pops up for cheap. That's gonna dictate, I think, what we do. So, we'll keep our options open. I think a Mustang, there's a lot of Mustang fans out there. If I could get into a Challenger for cheap, I would, but I think we have so many, you know, Dodge cars here that I think we're good there for now. I would ultimately like to get a Hellcat, but I mean, there's just so many people have already done the Hellcat thing that I think I would just be a little late to that party, that's all. And they're still kind of expensive, right? Like, I don't think there's any Hellcats that are cheap, but I don't know, we'll see. I don't have a ton, honestly, I don't have a ton of cash so that I could just drop in. If, just so you guys know, if you go to like a salvage auction to get something, you have to buy it cash. You can't get financing on a car from the auction. So if you're talking like, you know, $25,000 Hellcat that's smashed that we could fix, I would be down. That would be fun. But you have to front that cash, and honestly, I don't have that kind of cash floating around. So, but I'm down for getting something cheap, and then we can mess with it. Maybe turn it into a daily or a project, and at the same time get the Dakota into, I'm hoping I should have the Dakota into that sort of state where I could drive it quite a bit within the next, I don't know, next few weeks, right? So 2 weeks the cam comes in, so it'll be open heart surgery on it. But I'm hoping within a week or two, I'll have all the suspension done and the alignment done and the exhaust, which it should drive and sound decent. That's the plan. Darren says, not a diesel, just a gas 2500. The only thing with the 2500 is in California, your registration, your annual registration goes based on the weight of the truck. So if I get 2500, which weighs a lot more, I bet you that registration is going to be like some stupid amount of money. Because I even had to weigh that truck when I did the registration, the SRT-10. They go based on weight for some reason, and they do it as a commercial vehicle. I don't understand it, but that's the way it is in California. I'm gonna wrap this up in just a second. But Joseph said, "What's my opinion on the Pulsar from Diablo Sport?" I can't comment. I haven't messed with it. I'm not gonna badmouth it, but I haven't messed with it. But in the past, I haven't really been the happiest with some of their stuff. But I haven't messed with their newest one, so I can't say. I think that's the Pulsar. I don't know what the name of it is, but I think that's the one that sits in between. I think it's supposed to manipulate the information going into and coming out of the factory PCM and modify it, but kind of sounds like a piggyback computer, I think. But I haven't tried it, I haven't tested it, so I can't give you my honest opinion. Texas, how did you get the M1 intake? I heard those were unavailable. I got a dual plane air gap from Hughes engine instead. And how's that fan holding up? I used one of the GBQ. Jason has a few M1 intakes. He's pretty resourceful with finding parts, so yeah, we got one of his M1 intakes on the engine that we blew up. Right now we just have a stock long block in the truck, but yeah, he sourced them out. You know, everybody knows they're hard to get, but he's just always kept an eye out on forums and Facebook or and eBay. I think he got them that way. But I don't, like you said, that nobody's selling them brand new from like store, I don't think anymore. Oh, and as far as the fan, my fan seems to be working pretty good. The only thing is, I was mentioning this to Jason, is probably a different temperature for the fan could probably be put in, because it's like a probe that tells it when to turn the fan on and off. Probably could set it to a higher temperature, because right now the fan comes on quite a bit, like it runs quite a bit, and the temperature stays super cool. So I think I would probably let the temperature creep up a bit. It's not a bad problem to have, keeping the engine cool, but just I think the fan runs a little bit more than it needs to. It's trying to keep it a little bit too cool. But yeah, the fan's still working. Mark says, I think maybe a Mustang just show you can show idiots how to drive. I know, Mustang would be fun, honestly. Or like a lot of people have said about the drift build, but the problem is I don't know, I want to wait to see where all the what happens with all these events and what happens with everything, right? I mean, you can't really make a drift build and then not have a place to drift, right? So same goes with any of the track vehicles. So yeah, I'll wait to see what happens with all the different events, and then we'll see what pops up. If something comes up for cheap, we'll start messing with some stuff. Darren says, all the handheld tuners seem so over expensive for how much they really do, just my opinion. Yeah, I mean, some of those handhelds are really expensive, and some of them don't even allow custom tunes, so you gotta watch that when you buy some of that stuff. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this live session up, you guys. I'm gonna grab a bite to eat because I'm starving right now. But thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you guys want me to do these more often, let me know, and I can. So everyone's home in quarantine, so maybe we should make this a regular thing. Let me know in the comments. I know the live comments are probably going to end after the video, but even the comments on this actual video, once we close it out, it'll upload. Let me know, when you guys would want to do more of these live streams. I think they're fun. I think they're interactive. That answer some of your questions too. But yeah, let me know what time and when you guys would like to see it. Is it every other day? Is it at night? Let me know. I'll keep with the actual normal uploads as well, but we'll throw in a bunch of these live chats. Since everybody's at home, we might as well have a chat, right? So let me know when. Thanks for watching. And yeah, you guys will see another video coming tomorrow, but we'll wrap things up. Have a good night. Have a good weekend, you guys. And you'll see me again on the video tomorrow when I upload the one for the Ram too. Oh, and thanks again, everybody that donated too. Like I said, it'll go to good use. But thanks again, everybody, and everybody that supports the channel. Share the videos. Make sure you give this thumbs up before you take off, and we'll see you guys.